Usually I start this video off by saying it's been a long time, or it's been a while, and you know, it has. Things just happen, and that prevent you from doing things. Lesson here is don't ever pound your fists on your keyboard of your laptop, because you'll probably screw up your hard drive. My laptop was basically non-existent in my life for like a month, and that being said, I couldn't really edit or anything. School and work have been kicking my ass lately, so they've been getting in the way of me doing things. So I decided that I wanted to do an album review for you guys, and this is a very special album review. I've never done one in celebration of an album's anniversary, but I thought, why not do that, because this album really means a lot to me. It is 10 years now since Tegan and Sara's The Con came out. It came out in July of 2007. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. In my opinion, it's Tegan and Sara's best record. It's my personal favorite by them for sure. And also, it's November, and this album's a very fall album to me, even though it came out in the summertime. Just by the way it's like produced, of the songs and the musicality of it and the style of it. Most of this album too is about a past relationship and kind of reflecting on a breakup and the feelings of a breakup. I don't think it's necessarily about the same person. I think Tegan and Sara are talking about a couple previous different relationships kind of all into one. But this album too also talks about personal struggles too with yourself. The opener for this song is I Was Married, which is definitely one of the most unexpected openers for an album you'd ever hear. It kind of goes right into it with just Tegan and Sara's vocals. It reflects on how cohesive this album it is with the harmonizing and the more lighter instrumentation. And this leads into Relief Next to Me, which has this bouncy instrumentation to it, but also that's still refrained in a way. It's basically a post-dramatic breakup song that's kind of, you're kind of going after the person a little bit, like attacking the person that you were with, and you're still a little bit bitter about it. That leads into the self-titled track, The Con, which is definitely such a good self-titled track. Like, this is one of the best self-titled tracks for an album. I think it really showcases and ties in together nicely the overall hurt and mood that this album has. Down-strumming guitars, opening up with both of them just going right into the vocals on the verses here, that it just gravitates you right in from the start. And it has such a beautiful, catchy chorus to it. I like how on this song, one sister, I don't know which sister it is singing in a lower range, whereas the other sister is singing more in that high kind of falsetto-y range during the chorus of the song. And lyrically, the song hits hard, especially with the line, "Nobody likes me, maybe if I cry," talking about how you're still upset over this end of a relationship with somebody, and you feel like nobody is really noticing you're hurt and they're not really understanding it, but maybe if I cry they'll care. And I feel like a lot of people have felt this way. Me definitely too. I can relate to this song a lot. Knife Going In is the next track after this one. This is definitely one of my favorite Tegan and Sara songs ever. Probably one of my favorite songs on the album. I just love how beautiful the guitars work together, from the rhythm guitar to the lead guitar. They're just so perfectly intertwined together. So I feel like the shakiness in the chords of the acoustic guitar really play nicely too with the piano on this. It's a pretty lyrically blunt and straightforward song, talking about like the anxiety of waiting on somebody, waiting if they'll ever come back to you, and you feel like you're gonna wait for them to forever to like get back into this relationship with them. I've definitely related to this song before, being someone who also struggles with anxiety. The song's pretty dark too, especially when it says, "I feel the knife going in, I'm feeling anxious." Definitely a pretty emo song, but it's such a good one. Are You 10 Years Ago? This one is probably my least favorite on the album. Not that it's a bad song, but it's just not one that I gravitate towards as much as the rest of this album. It has jittery drums and synth that are pretty much played throughout the song. It's very repetitious with the instrumentation and the lyrics. And with that being said, it gets a little bit too much for me. I can listen to it and appreciate the song too for its kind of quirkiness. One of the most well-known Tegan and Sara songs is Back in Your Head, which I think is the biggest single off of this album. You instantly know this song once you hear that piano hook. Bum, 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 bum. It's very standout, and it's played throughout the song. Again, it's another song, one of the more sad ones, reflecting on a past relationship with somebody, wishing you still had them and hoping that in some way they still think about you. Hop on a Plane is probably one of the most unique songs on this album. It's got a pretty big like rock style influence from the choppy guitar chords in it, but I think it also is a nice song too that's got this really unique, cool, groovy style bass line. It's kind of just a very quirky song from the instrumentation to the way the vocal presence is. And then it transitions pretty abruptly right into Soil Soil, which is a very quiet but beautiful song with some light guitar and piano. Tegan's pretty much singing this song for the most part, and Sara's kind of in the background as like an accent to her voice, and I really enjoy this song. It's pretty short, but it's really a beautiful song. Burn Your Life Down, I think, is probably one of the more overlooked songs on the con, but it's one of my personal favorites in such a weird way. It's when you first hear this song, it almost has like this country folk tinge to it. The vocals throughout this song are pretty monotone, and I think for a reason, just because you feel like your life's falling apart and you just kind of keep on adding to the flame. This song, obviously, they're not sounding too happy. What I really love about this song, though, is you get that surprise, explosive energy right towards the end around the bridge when they say, I drive around the block, I'm not looking to my right, I feel the glass against my cheek and I can see in the light, and it's just this very explosive vocal delivery. That's when there's more drums in this, and then the guitars get a little bit more forceful. Then the song kind of starts to happen more, and then it kind of just ends like that. And I really enjoy how it just builds up into this explosive burst of energy and emotion. 19 is probably a lot of people's favorites off this album. It's one of the most powerful songs when it comes to the musicality and instrumentation, as well as the emotion behind it. Just by the way Tegan sings it. Drums and guitar on this really pack a punch in building this song up. And this song is kind of reflecting back on an adolescent relationship and kind of how naive you both were at the time, but yet the relationship still means something to you in some way. But I really like how the focal point on this song is mostly the drums, kind of just building this song and carrying it forward. Floorplan is definitely one of my absolute favorite songs on this album. I think it's composed really beautiful musically and vocally. It has a great blend of guitar and swelling keyboard, and the warm vocal harmonies on this song really work so well with it. I really enjoy how different this song is, but it also has an awkwardness to it, but in the best way possible, especially towards the end. When they're not afraid to kind of exaggerate their voice a little bit when she says, I shouldn't go, but I can't really help it when I feel this pressure, and like really emphasizing pressure. Like Oh Like H is another kind of weird, awkward song, but it's really unique in a way as well. From the vocals to the instrumentation on this. And again, Tegan and Sara really work well together, kind of overlapping each other's vocals in the verses and the chorus of this song. Continuing more onto this darker side of the album, you have Dark Comes Soon. Definitely one of the most personal and dark, obviously dark tone songs on the album. With the reverbed guitars and laid back synth and strong bass lines. This has some really solid instrumentation to it. Plus the way Tegan sings this song. There's a lot here, and you can tell that she's really hurt and kind of disappointed in herself. Call It Off is the closer for this album, which is probably one of Tegan and Sara's like staple songs. A lot of people that appreciate the band and know the band and listen to the band really enjoy this song. I've seen them live like 2 different times, and each time that they've played this song live that I've seen, a lot of people go crazy for it because of its simplicity but its heartfelt lyrics. It starts off with acoustic finger picking, and then it kind of breaks into this electric guitar finger picking. It's a very blunt song about questioning yourself and if it was the right thing to leave a relationship at the time, or breaking up with this person, because you go back to those thoughts, you go back to those memories and those places, and you're making yourself feel worse, so you're wondering, like, was it the right thing to let go of this person and leave this person? But I think it ends this album on a really strong note, and it just ties everything in together wonderfully. This album, like I said, has really great vocal harmonization from Tegan and Sara. I love how they switch back and forth between the lead vocals, and then one takes over backing and the other takes over lead. I love how they kind of always they're switching that up on this album and just showing these really beautiful vocal harmonies, and they work so well together. Also, the guitar work on this album I think is really gorgeous too, from the more acoustic folk indie style to also some like electric style indie pop. There's a lot of really special songs on this album, and I like how some of the songs aren't afraid to be like quirky and weird. This album, when I first was listening to it, I was going through a breakup at the time, and this was like probably 5 years ago or something when I first listened to this album, and it really helped me through that breakup, and really kind of definitely did not make me feel alone, because I was feeling a lot of the feelings that they felt on this album. I think after 10 years, this album definitely still holds strong. I'm so proud of it. I'm sure they're proud of it. If you haven't heard this masterpiece by Tegan and Sara, definitely check it out. I really recommend it. If you guys want to follow me on any social media stuff, that'll be down below, as well as other YouTube channels that I haven't really been on in a long time as well. Please subscribe, guys, if you're new to this channel. I always try to put out my opinions on different albums, and I'm really glad I got to do kind of a throwback 10-year anniversary to such a special album that has such an important place in my heart. I also do covers and stuff too, so if you want to see me do more music stuff, hit subscribe down there. Give this video a like, guys, and show Tegan and Sara some love for such a classic album. Comment me down below your favorite songs and how this album feels to you today after 10 years. So like always, stay brutal, stay tuned for more videos, and see you guys later.